too. So let's give Dr. Monzo a big round of
So how many people have some idea of who I am? Okay. How many was it through the documentary The Way? Okay. So how many people know very well, at least, not just heard about, but know very well about my teachings on Aleph Tav Body? Okay, this is good. So this is what we're leading up to. So in a nutshell, Aleph Tav Body is just a study for the last 10 years of my life that, well, in a nutshell, basically this is what it is. That on your body you have command centers. You can almost think of it as like Chinese medicine. Everyone's aware there's acupuncture points and pathways. It's like that, but different. These are master control points on the body that act as almost like telecommunication centers. And there happens to be one for every Hebrew letter, because they actually are Hebrew letters. And they control everything on the body. So everything about how the body works, functions, its shape, its form, everything is governed by Hebrew letters on the body. And to get to that point, we need to know two things. One, you need to know a little bit about Hebrew, especially in the paleo or the pictographic form. And two, you're going to need to know a little bit about biophysics. And so tomorrow I'm going to talk about the biophysics of creation. And then on Sunday we're going to get into Aleph Tav Body introduction and then Aleph Tav Body hands-on applications. And this is actually how you can actually do laying on of hands, touching very specific points, and do things like stop a heart attack with your hands. Stop bleeding with your hands, stop anaphylactic shock with your hands, stop a seizure with your hands. Or you can get the body to regenerate just by touching the body with very specific points. I believe it was the original laying on of hands, and a lot of the information has been lost. So today's topic is the ancient Hebrew. And if you don't know, this chart is from Ericology. I think he's probably one of the best on the ancient Hebrew teaching. There's a lot of others, but yes, that's me. So I have a lot of degrees. I study a lot of things. We're not going to get into that, but first, the idea of Paleo Hebrew, or we might say ancient Hebrew, because that is a debate in itself. Some people think when you say Paleo Hebrew, you're talking about the Paleolithic period, which I don't even believe in such thing as stone men or any of that nonsense. So, no, there's another definition for Paleo, and it just means old or ancient. So when we say ancient Hebrew, all we mean by that is, or when we say Paleo Hebrew, the only thing we mean by that is ancient Hebrew. We're not talking about a time period. And unless you're one of those pointy-headed intellectuals that Scott talks about, and that's everything else. And we're going to get into that. We're getting back to the original concept of Hebrew. And one of the things you have to be careful about is a lot of people today study Hebrew, but it's taught basically westernized Hebrew. And that's like all over the world now. The Western culture, the Greco-Roman mind has influenced things. And today, a lot of people study Hebrew from that mindset. And the way you can tell right away is if they want to put it in a box. And say, no, there's a certain way, and there's certain rules, and it can't be anything else. It's like, well, that doesn't sound like a father. I didn't know he was limited, and his language isn't limited, so you can't really put it in a box. And as soon as people try to do that, you know automatically they study westernized Hebrew. So in ancient Hebrew, like in Chinese or Egyptian, every word is actually formed by adding individual letters which are pictures together. So you kind of paint an illustration for meaning. So it says a word picture is a word that is described by pictures. You don't have to be able to read Hebrew in order to understand or to use this book efficiently when you read the Bible. When Hebrew was first written, each letter represented both a sound and a picture. Even if you or the people you teach are not familiar with the Hebrew sounds and have no experience with language, the pictures you see inside the words will speak for themselves. So this is Dr. Frank Seekins. I think for most people, if you want a really good starting point, Dr. Frank Seekins is probably like Ancient Hebrew 101. And his book is Hebrew Word Pictures. If you want a little bit more, then I would recommend Jeff Benner. He's going to go a little bit deeper, so he has the Ancient Hebrew Research Center. And I love his description here. He says, think of it this way. If you were given a choice between fast food meal and one from a 5-star restaurant, which would you choose? Both restaurants would provide food, but I think most people would choose a 5-star restaurant, as it provides better food and a better atmosphere than the fast food restaurant. The same analogy can be for the Hebrew Bible. Reading an English translation of the Bible is like fast food restaurant. You still may get fed, but it doesn't have the same impact as the Hebrew text. Even if you don't know Hebrew, much can be learned by understanding Hebrew concepts. And then I kind of already mentioned it, but if you really want to, oh wait, maybe I'm ahead of myself. Well, I'll say it. So if you really want to drink from the fire hose, then you go look up Eric Bessel and his Ericology. And that's like drinking from the fire hose. How many people ever heard his stuff? Okay, so some of you, so you know what I'm talking about. When we go through the letters, we're going to have little charts like this. And this is a chart that actually shows how the Aleph, the first letter, slowly became what we have today is the modern, actually goes to the modern A. And you can see here it looks like an ox head. And it slowly got turned and changed. And the biggest change you're going to see, well, I'll get to it later. Illustrated later. Same thing with the bet. And I knew I was ahead of myself. Eritology. So there it is. That word is a play on words. It's actually not named after Eric Bessel. As you can see, his name is with a C, and this is a K. So it's a play on words because that word actually has a meaning in itself of understanding language. And his whole teaching is about going back and really understanding the baseline of the Hebrew letters. He matches them up with the tabernacle and the 7 days of creation, 7 articles of the tabernacle, the 7 days of creation, right? 7 articles of the tabernacle, and the 7 Moedim, which is very interesting. All right, so we're going to get into it. Ancient Hebrew. It's a language like no other. Each letter is a picture and a number all on one. And these cannot be separated. So people out there who go, oh, numerology. No. Yah created numbers, not man. So you can't throw all numbers out, act like they have no meaning. They do. This is going to be a big thing I really teach about, probably more on Sunday, or maybe tomorrow. But we're going to get into, at some point, going into counterfeits. You have to understand counterfeits because the reality is Hasatan and his forces are not creators. They don't create anything. So everything they do is a counterfeit. So anytime you have anything that's true or valuable, he's going to counterfeit it. And the sad fact is most people, especially in the Torah movement, run away from truth all the time out of their fear because they see something that's a counterfeit and it looks like the real thing. run away from the real thing because of the counterfeit. And that is not wisdom. That is fear. And there's a lot of it. We're going to go more into that tomorrow. The ancient Hebrew were the building blocks of all creation. In the beginning, Yah spoke. Ancient Hebrew, some spelling mistakes maybe. The main importance is the picture meaning, not phonetics. This is really big. All I have to do is ask one simple question, and this gets rid of so many ridiculous debates on how to pronounce a name. Is it even important? Not really. Because if we go back to the original Hebrew, let me ask the question, how do you pronounce a picture? You don't. Case solved. How to pronounce it is missing the whole point of Hebrew. Ancient Hebrew should be kept balanced. Not to mention, what about the people who are deaf and blind? They can't know anything? No. There are extremes. There are a lot of extremes that focus on correct pronunciation and head knowledge. No one really knows how the letters are pronounced. Unless you have an audio recording of Moses, or maybe Yah speaking to Adam and Eve, there's no way you can know exactly how they were pronounced. Impossible. Because everyone wants to do the same thing. And they'll go to some ancient text or some ancient stone, and they go, oh look, this tells us how to pronounce it. And I sit there and go, it's not speaking to me. Where is the audible? I can scribble anything on the board that doesn't tell you how to phonetically say anything. We can't even agree on tomato, potato, tomato. Yes. And that's only in what, the last like 300, 500 years? We can't even get English right, and we're going to think that we can figure out how to pronounce what language has been around since the beginning of time? No way. It's not even really that important. Like his name. Think about this. To truly know how to pronounce his name, you would have to completely know him. And if you completely knew him, you would be him. But you're not. So I would surmise no one can ever know how to completely pronounce his name. I bet if everyone could pronounce his name a different way all at once, maybe 1,000 different ways, maybe we would get a glimpse of exactly how it's pronounced. Because it's so outside the box, we put everything in the box, especially him. We always want to put Yah in the box and make him in our image, in our imagination, including his name. But it's much bigger than us. We're never going to figure it out exactly. And that gets into the idea of Shem. Ancient Hebrew is all about the Shem. And if you look at that little letter, and you break it down in pictographic forms, you have the T that destroy and the water of chaos. So Shem means what destroys chaos. You can't put ancient Hebrew in a box. A picture is 1,000 words. Hebrew picture letters give you a multi-dimensional understanding of a word. Shem is the Hebrew word for name. So Hashem is a name, but names are nice. And this is something I was taught by a Messianic Jew, Dr. Joe B. Young, and really interesting insight. And I teach this all the time. What is nice? It means your nature, your identity, your character, and your essence. That is the meaning of Shem, a name. Not how you pronounce it. The nature, the identity, the character, and the essence of the person or place or thing you're talking about. This is why names are changed. When the identity and the character and the essence of something has changed, the name gets changed. We're going to get more into that when we get into the biophysics of creation, because the same thing is true in frequencies and things like that, where you're going to see consistent meanings throughout everything in this creation. Okay, my clock here is home time, so I'm going, whoa, I'm already done. So now we're going to get into the Hebrew languages or the letters and go through each one. And originally I wanted to do something else with this. Maybe I'll try to do it as we go along, because we probably don't have the time. But I wanted to show how you can find Yeshua in every Hebrew letter. As how many people have heard these arguments today? Yeshua is not in the Old Testament. In fact, how many people have heard Yah cannot come in physical flesh because that would make him a demigod? Well, problem. Demigod is not actually in the Bible. That word doesn't exist. So you're telling me Yah can't do something based on a man-made word? Nope, doesn't work that way. So what I'm going to show you is if you just know the images of the Hebrew letters, he will tell you exactly what he's going to do in the identity of Yeshua. So the first letter is Aleph. I pronounce it that way, spell it that way. Some people use F, but my name is a PH, so I like using PH. Worked on phonics for me. It's actually a funny story. They actually did not teach me phonics in school. I was in the era of sight reading. Yeah. And then I found out, wait a minute, sight reading doesn't even work for my own name. So it's the first letter. It means ox, and it's actually a picture of an ox. And I like this diagram. This is actually out of Frank Sequin's book, because you're going to notice something very interesting as you come around, and that is that right around this time is when you see the letters change from the ancient form to the modern form during the time of Daniel. And I agree with Eric Bessel. I think Daniel was the person who actually changed the letters, because there's this weird passage in Daniel about seal up the book and hide it till the time of the end. But when you really read it in Hebrew, he really says take the word, or the book actually, and seal it as in a code. And I believe Daniel was commissioned because he was one of the great mystics, you could say, at that time. He was one of the knowledgeable ones in Babylon. That he was given the authority to change the shape of the letters to the modern form and thus hide a lot of the meaning of the Hebrew letters until the time of the end when they would be revealed again. Which was about around 2009, 2010 when people really started to come out with this. Obviously, people were talking about Paleo-Hebrew before that, but it didn't really have any traction until about that time when the verse was probably over. And then all of a sudden, everyone's talking about ancient Hebrew. Interesting how that is. So I kind of think both languages are true. I don't think one is worse than the other, not both languages, but both forms. I think it's just like the principle of 2 and 1. One man divided in two comes back together as one. One stick is divided in two, comes back together in one. I think there was one language, you get divided in two, and when you bring them back together as one, you get the full meaning of the letters. And I think that's what we're doing right now. So, Aleph, picture of an ox head. Its number is 1. So some of the out-of-box meanings. It means first, strong, strength, leader. It's a silent letter, so a lot of people consider the Aleph the letter of Yah, because it's about the plan or the purpose, the architect, the author. And what is the architect and the author? He's silent, but yet you see him in what he's created. So the Aleph kind of has this idea of the architect. As a prefix, it can mean I will, or the intent, or the purpose. So, if we're looking at Yeshua, this letter is, I am the architect, I am the creator, I will, and then you get to the next letter, Bet. Second letter of the Hebrew alphabet means a house. It's actually a picture of a house. It's the number 2. It can mean a house, a tent, a family, a body. It means a container, something that's physical or materialized. When you use it as a suffix or a prefix, that is suffix, but again, prefix at the beginning, it means in, with, among, inside, into, within. It's the idea of going into a house, in a house. So just looking at the first two letters of the Hebrew in the pictographic form, you have, I will take physical form. It's right there in the Hebrew. I will take physical form. Gimel. It means camel. It's our letter C. But back then it was, it's actually a G sound, Gimel. And it is a picture of a camel, so it means camel. It's number 3. But it has the idea of something to lift up. And some of the drawings, it looks like a camel's neck. Or sometimes if you turn it a certain way, it looks like a foot. And both are actually right, because the idea is something that lifts up and moves, or travels to voyages. Something that goes back and forth, like a boomerang. It goes and returns. It's a neck, throat, someone who is sent, a sent one, an ambassador. So I will take physical form, traveling as the ambassador. Dalet. Dalet is the 4th letter. It's a picture of a door. It means a door. But it doesn't just mean a door because it's a number 4. So it could be a door, a gate, a leaf of a book. It's related to the earth, the 4 corners of the earth. You have the 4 seasons, you have the 4 directions, you have the 4 states of matter that they don't teach in this country because of reasons, which is plasma. You have a plasma, you have a gas, you have a liquid and a solid. They don't teach plasma for a lot of reasons they don't want you to know about. Transition, transpose, through the door, the place of the covenant is at the door. So that's the concept of the Dalet. So I will take physical form, traveling to the earth as the door. Hey, to reveal myself. The 5th letter, it means behold, hey, look. It's a man with his hands raised or pointing, saying reveal, revealing, look, behold, look, show the way. It can be light, an arrow. Why? Because those are things that reveal. You need light to reveal something. So you see how Hebrew is not in the box. When people say, well, it just means reveal. No, get out of there. Think, expand. How many things mean to reveal something? It's much bigger, it's much deeper. Pointing to, sound or light. It's the 5th letter, so it's like the number of grace. Think about that. Does grace not reveal? Without grace, we get to know truth. Truth is revealing. It is grace to us. Torah is another way of pointing. Torah is actually grace. Without it, we kill ourselves. That's why I always say the little thing, you either have a lifestyle or you have a death style. There is no other. Without Torah, all you have is a death style. As a prefix, it means the. As a suffix, it means what comes out of, revealed or opened up. So now he's revealing himself. Vav, or wav, or you, or whatever people say. There's 1,000 different debates of just this one letter. I say vav, or wav. It's the 6th letter. It's actually a nail, or a hook. And it's a picture of a hook. But it's also a connector, or a bridge, a common link, an attachment. Think of a mediator. It's the number of man. So as a prefix, this letter is often used for like and, but, past into the future, to turn, link, bridge. As a suffix, it could be his or it. So you're thinking of this whole picture now, and you're seeing, I will take physical form, traveling to the earth as a door, revealing myself as a vav man, the man nailed, the connector, the mediator. The whole story of Yeshua is right in the letters. Vav. Vav means cut off, but yet perfect. I will be nailed and cut off, but yet perfect. I will be put to the weapon because of the. Did I say Zion?
No, you said that.
It's a little late where I come from. Zion is the 7th letter, and it actually means a weapon. Another picture of it is like a plowshare. So think of like the hooks that were put on his back and ripped the skin off. To rip the skin, it's a shear, it plows through the ground, and you can cut off. It's a weapon. It could be a hammer, a set apart, fully accomplished, successful, perfect. Perfect, but put to the weapon. Chet. I'm not really afraid of germs like me. So chet is the fence or the inner room. It's kind of like a sheepfold. So it can mean fence, gate, inner room, secure. It's the sheepfold or the pasture. It can mean the kingdom, the big white fence, the Mishkan, and a big white fence around it. It's eternal, new beginnings. These are all concepts of Ket. Because when you enter into the kingdom, it's new beginnings. But this is like being now entombed, put into a gate or a fence. And actually the word cut, we get that pronunciation because one of the meanings of it is gravel, to pull through gravel, so you get the so like put into a gravel tomb. And then you get tet. 9th letter. Am I going too fast? Okay, good. We have to go fast. There's 22 of these next. More on number 9. 9th letter. It has it looks like a snake or to surround. Some people say it's like a basket, a twisting. But to surround, full capacity, an authorized signature, full circle, because of sin. That's the idea of tet. 9. The end of the cycle, beginning of a new. If you're using modern, I don't know what you want to call it, modern math. Not cycles as in 7 cycles, but you see all the time in the scripture. This is like the big tomb or the big stone rolled in front, entombed, surrounded, sealed. Yod, the 10th letter, is a picture of a hand. So you can almost see, especially here, the picture of the hand. Even this one, it's like a hand that's working. So it's a picture of a hand. Yep. The yod's going to be more of the palm. This is the hand arm, the 10th letter. It means working, creator, action, to make. Strength, I make, I do, I am, I lay down my life, I raise it back up again. The prefix, he will. As a suffix, my. My hand, I do this. So think of where we've come so far. I will take physical flesh, traveling to the earth as a door, revealing myself as the law of man, the nailed man, the connector, cut off, but yet perfect, entombed, encased. By my hand I do this. Koth, it means for you. By my palm. It's now the 11th letter, but it has a numerical value of 20 now. And we'll get into that sometime in my teaching, how the numbers kind of work. It's very interesting. Because technically in Hebrew they go 1 through 10, and then you get into actually 1 through 9, and then you get into, that's your ones, right? And then you have your tens in math. And tens, you start over, and you have 1 with a 0, 2 with a 0, 3 with a 0, you're in tens. And then in hundreds, you're going to have 100, 200, which is why I think if you way to look at it, it actually verifies the 5 final forms, because if you have the 5 final forms, you have 3 cycles of 1 through 9. And there's actually points in the block related to them, but that's a whole other story I will get to eventually. But an open palm. And a lot of times this is how they did the blessing, right? The palm, the wing, shelter, covering, to offer. Lines of instruction, you can think of the lines of instruction on a page. The Torah, the blessing. Prefix, it can mean like or as, according to. Suffix, you, yours. So, very interesting, like I said, when you combine these last 2 letters. I did this on my own accord for you. By my palm. Lamed is the shepherd's staff. So it's a picture of a shepherd's staff. So think of ideas of a shepherd. What does he do? He leads, guides, a staff, a rod, a teacher, leader, a rudder that guides the ship, a tongue that guides the mouth or the body, to steer, guide, navigate. Government, will. The will of the shepherd is a 12. This is the 12th letter. Interesting, 12 plus, or 1 plus 2 is 3. And if you're in the second cycle, that equals 30. Casting out a knife, I'll talk about how you check mathematical equations, but I'll show you that later. Prefix, unto, in regard, to, towards, by. I wanted to say another thing. The cough oftentimes represents the Torah along with the next letter, Lamed. So you're going to find it very interesting. There's a lot of people who claim to have the same story as the Messiah. Came, they were born, they died, they resurrected. If you believe in them, you have everlasting life. He's not the only one with that story. And that's why people have come along throughout the years and said, this Jesus guy is just a ripoff. You've ripped off all the other languages. There's only one problem with that. And that is, if you know Yeshua, he's the only one that matches all of the 22 letters of Hebrew. And when you get to these 2, this is the person who not only upholds the Torah, but teaches the Torah. He is the Torah. None of the others can say that. They might have similar stories, but none of them taught the Torah. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's Lamed. Mem, 13th letter. 1 plus 3 is 4. And we're in the second cycle. Pattern. Probably just a coincidence. Yah really doesn't know what he's doing. Maybe it's just numerology and the New Age people made up this up. Water. So it's a picture of water, and it can mean water, chaos, the womb. And with this letter, it's actually dead center of the Hebrew language. And it's very interesting because I think it's one of the letters that most clearly show the idea of blessings and curses. The blessing of water is to cleanse, and then you have a curse of water to destroy, the flood. Think of growth, rebirth, cleansing, multiplication, reproduction, movement. When you give birth, what does it do? You go through chaos, and there's water. So you have this idea of the mem, and that's why you have all these M words like mother, monarch. They all come from this letter mem. As a prefix, it can mean from, birth from, place of. As a suffix, it's theirs, them, those. I'm going to go faster here. A lot faster. Okay, noon. Noon is the 15th 15th letter, no, 14th letter now. Oh, it's on there, duh. Read the first one, Monzo. It means fish. It's a picture of a fish or seed. So you can look at it as like a sprout or a seed or something that's a fish that's jumping out of water. So it has this idea of life, living, action, a lightning bolt, dynamic action. I will do this, action. Yeah. Oh, and in case you didn't see it, 1 plus 4 is 5. Second cycle is 50. 15th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, shamak, it's a prop. So it means to support, to aid, to assist. It's kind of like a flag or a banner when you look at, when you draw it this way. So like something like you're raising up a prop or support. Think of Moses when he had his hands up, and then you had the two supports come to help him hold up his hands. An engineered structure to keep or to guard. So you can see how Yeshua was born through chaos, to come, to give life, to be a support. And this continues. When you're thinking of it as he was reborn when he was in the tomb, he resurrected to life, and now he's coming to support us as the first fruits, which is raised up. Getting the picture. Ayin, the 16th letter. It means an eye, and it looks like an eye. So it has the concept to see, to look, to appear, understanding, comprehend, balance, equal judgment, scales. Yeah. Potential energy. Ayin, to understand, to give understanding, to open up the eyes of the heart. 17th is a mouth. It's a picture of a mouth, and it means mouth, opening, entrance, to command, to say, to speech, yell, scream, breath, words, communication, eat, speak, sing, kiss, open and close. Right? It is opening and closing of the mouth, receiving, rejecting. Zadi. It's the 18th letter. It means a fish hook. What does it say there? Righteous man. So this is obviously where we get the word zadikah, for righteous, to pull upward, or to pull towards something inescapable. A hook, trouble, harvest, goal, future. When we get to the final zadi, which is one of the 5 final letters, it's drawn a little bit different. And most of the teachings, if you can see it, is that this is a man kneeling. See, this is his knees, his arms, he's kneeling. Yeah, man kneeling, praying. And when you get to the final form, it looks almost like our Y. So it's like a big long line, and you have the 2 lines, and the line is up, so he's raised, and it means the final resident record righteous man. When you get to the final zone. So this is the humble man. The kuf. 19th letter, it's the back of the head, and it means like something behind, back, what comes after, end of the cycle. What is the last, final, least, dome, beyond, after, next. So this is where you start getting into the idea of what comes next. You know, he left. Yeah. Spoke. Gone. What's the word I'm looking for? Transfiguration, and then he left. I can't, the word's not coming to my mind. Yes! See, yeah, it's It's late breakfast. My brain's turning on. And then this is talking about him as the head, what comes after him, what comes after. The Resh. Resh is the actual head, not what's behind the head or after the head, but the head, the highest. So you've heard of like Rosh Hashanah, the head or chief cornerstone, comes from this. The highest, supreme, first, or some person, one is the most important. So who is the Resh man? Who is the exalted man? The exalted man, the one who is lifted up. Shin is a tooth. And it means to devour, to consume, to destroy, to eat. It's sharp. It also means shining. El Shaddai, almighty, shining, unstoppable, all-powerful. So now he's the El Shaddai, he's all-powerful. Tav. So Tav is obviously the 22nd letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And it means a sign. A sign or a mark. Oh, this is going to make some people mad. When it's drawn like this, what does it look like? A cross. Guess what? The cross is not the sign of Tammuz. It's a Tav. He ripped it off. Why did the Roman Catholic Church start making the sign of the cross on the heads? They weren't. They were making the sign that the Jews used to do. The Jews used to anoint people with oil by making the sign of the mark. That's what it looks like. The Christians came along, they didn't know what they were doing, they didn't understand the Hebrew, so they ripped it off. Sorry. Now, if I'm going to come, and I'm the Messiah of the world, and I'm going to die on something that's the sign, what shape is it going to be? It wasn't a pole. It was a cross. Because that is the sign of the mark. That is a tav. It's a mark. It's a sign. It means covenant. It means ownership, to seal, to join two things together. A post does not join two things together. This is where people have to be careful. Because we see something and we read something and we go, oh, Tammuz was using the cross. Of course he was. He's ripping it off. He has to rip off all these letters and twist them. Why? To get people so fearful they run away from the truth. Life or death. It's also what the pirates used to use. X marks the spot. It's the sign. So that's the Hebrew letters. We're almost completely out of time. I started late, so I get a little bit. Yeah. So we're going to do a couple words, just to show you. Oh, no. I just can't remember it. Bad. I can fix this. I can. I hope. It took the Hebrew font off because this computer must not have. Well, this computer does have the Hebrew font. I thought. Never leave home without my external hard drive. I think it will work if I play it off this way. Did I say 32?
Yes. 33 is the
Okay, so that's supposed to look like a aleph, which is the ox head, and a shepherd's staff. Yes? We're going to work. So obviously the aleph, which would be the ox, would be first or strong, and the shepherd's staff is shepherd or authority. So obviously El, or we get Elohim, is the first strong shepherd. So that's a Hebrew word picture. So now it takes it a little bit deeper. You get like this three-dimensional understanding of the word. Now the rest of these should work because it's pulling from a hard drive. So yeah. Kind of. This must be spiritual warfare. There's no way. Doesn't make any sense. Some reason they don't want to pull up the aleph, which is the ox head again, which again means first strong leader. That second letter is the bet, the house. So obviously a father means the strong leader of the house. Or the strength of the house. Or the leader of the house. Yeah, this thing hates the aleph for some reason. It's like that one font got deleted out of my computer or something. Weird. So that should be on ox head again. So we're going to do the word mother. So it's an ox head and the mem, which is water. So again, ox head is first, strong, leader. Mem means water, reproduction. So a mother is the first water. Or the strong water. Oh, thank you. Got all those ones. So shalom. I'm sure people have heard this one before, maybe. So the first one is the teeth, the shin. Teeth, destroy, devour. And then you have the shepherd's staff, shepherd or authority. The vav, that's the nail or the connector. And then the mem again, the water or chaos. It could be chaos, it could be water. So you see how these things are not in the box. So what is shalom? Shalom means to destroy the authority connected to chaos. That's what shalom. Truth. I like this one. Again, they don't like the aleph. The first one's supposed to be the ox head, first leader. Yahweh. Or Yahweh, whatever. Mem. I'll say this in a minute. I'll just keep going and I'll clean some things up. So water, chaos, born. Covenant, goal is the tav. So if you realize the word truth is very interesting because it's the first letter of Hebrew, the middle letter of Hebrew, and the last letter of Hebrew. If you just take the mem tav by itself, it means to die or to death. So Yah, born with the goal to die, is the truth. There is no truth if you remove the aleph tav. Who is the aleph tav? Yeshua. There is no truth if you remove the covenant. And if you remove the Father, the first leader, the aleph, all you have is death. And that is the truth.
Yes. So
look down at the floor, pick up any trash that you have before we leave today, because I have to go through and straighten everything up, pick up all this trash, get everything back in.
There's not.